Welcome back, Tribe. I have an episode here from Derek Silver. What nice guys don't understand. Let's get into it.
Growing up, we all heard the phrase that nice guys finish last. And in my teenage years, I could definitely say that I fell into this category. Actually, it's kind of funny. The other day, I found a bunch of my old senior portraits from high school. And reading back on some of them, it was a bunch of girls talking about how much of a nice guy I was. So objectively, I could definitely speak on this. And it's actually not the case that nice guys finish last. Rather, it'd be more accurate to say that passive guys finish last, or guys that are pushovers. And oftentimes in society, we conflate those two things, when in reality, being passive and also being nice can be completely mutually exclusive. You can be a passive guy and also not be a very nice person. And you can also be a genuinely nice person and not necessarily be passive or reserved. And the problem is, in society, we conflate those two definitions and we label all these guys as nice guys. Which is essentially why a lot of guys think that the problem is that they're too nice, so then they end up being assholes. And no one really ever talks about this when they talk about nice guys finish last, and this is extremely important to differentiate. So let's break this down. There's effectively three types of guys that society labels as nice guys. The first type of nice guy is the most genuine definition of a nice guy, and that's a guy that's genuinely nice to everyone, but at the same time, he's also very passive, very reserved, very introverted, very shy, etc. And these types of guys tend to be friends with everyone. No one really dislikes them. However, these guys do finish last in the sense that they never get the girl that they like. And there's a lot of reasons for this. The first reason being that they have an inability to establish boundaries. They tend to let friends, peers, girls, the world walk all over them.
Pushovers, bro. All of these are just denominations of nice guys. You don't have to get it too complicated. Stop being a pushover. Start having boundaries. Start saying no. Start putting yourself first. A nice guy is the bane of everyone's existence because of the ulterior motives they have. It's a fake niceness. You want to be well-mannered. I'm not nice, but I am well-mannered. Cordial in public settings. That's all. Have manners. Treat everybody kind. Be kind to them. The kindness that nice guys show, but without the ulterior motives. That's a well-mannered man. That's it. Nice guys are something completely different. Everybody's disgusted by them, men and women, because you can see through their niceness. It's conditional. It's on condition that they get something eventually, which is why women are so put off by them, because it'll be these nice guys once they get rejected. I never wanted that B anyway. You fucking blah, blah, blah. And start going off on the chick, right? So that it turns on the girl so quickly once she rejects the nice guy, once he gets the balls to actually say something. Yeah.
And they also have an inability to say no because they're afraid of stepping on toes. They're afraid of making people angry. They're afraid of upsetting the girl that they like. So they always say yes. This type of guy is a genuine people pleaser where he wants to make everyone around him happy. Even if there's nothing to gain or even if it's at the cost of himself, he will go out of his way to make other people happy. He will always put everyone else above himself, not because he has some secret agenda or something to gain, but genuinely just because that's who he is.
No, it's not genuinely who they are. These people, that's a trauma response, guys. It's not, no one's genuinely nice like that for no reason. People are always nice to you because they're trying to get something in return. It's just human nature, Machiavelli, start reading The Prince and all these other dark psychology style books. There's always ulterior motives. There's a subtle exchange going on here. It's very rare portion of the population. It's because they're usually set up for life already. They have everything they could have ever wanted and they don't gain. They take pleasure from just giving, just helping. But those are very far and few in between. The majority of quote nice guys have an ulterior motive, or they're the pushovers psychologically from like, I don't know, a horrible home that they were raised in where they're told they were never enough, where they were never given attention by their parents, so they constantly seek attention, approval, affirmations from people around them of their worth. That's why they're being nice to get something psychologically that they never got from their own parents. It's much deeper than just like, I'm just being nice because I'm a nice guy. No, bro, you're fucked in the head mentally. You put people before you. You're willing to make your life more difficult to put people ahead of you because you don't value yourself. You don't fucking respect yourself. Why? Because some traumatic shit in your household, you didn't get enough love from mommy or something.
And by the way, girls love this type of guy, but they don't find this type of guy attractive. But he makes an amazing guy best friend to girls because he will listen to your problems. He will never make you angry.
He will never ask for sex, and he will never try to be a boyfriend until the last moment where he can't wait anymore, hoping that you'll see the value in him. It's all bullshit. They're using him. Women are just using this guy. He's great. He's too much of a toad to make his needs known to her early, like a man would, which she would respect.
He will go out of his way for you. He's going to do whatever it takes to make you happy. This type of nice guy makes an amazing friend to girls. But the girl just won't find this type of guy attractive because a lot of these qualities communicates feminine traits. It communicates that you don't really respect yourself and you don't really stand up for yourself. And when it comes to a significant other, girls look for security above all else. And security is something that this type of nice guy doesn't seem like he can provide. If you have trouble prioritizing yourself, not ever able to say no to someone, always catering to other people's will, not standing up for yourself, not expressing your thoughts, not communicating your thoughts, never being able to prioritize yourself, all these things that make you a good friend to a girl, it doesn't make you a worthy partner because it conveys that you lack an identity. How can you stand for anything if you don't even stand up for yourself? And it sucks because this type of nice guy is actually a really good person and the most genuine out of the 3 types of nice guys. They're the ones with the heart of gold and care the most for other people, but it doesn't translate to success in a lot of areas.
No, bro. It's another kind of broken person. We're used to the narcissistic qualities. We're used to like the bipolar shit in chicks. We're used to the guys that grew up with no father, so they turn into bad boys. They get into drugs. They fight and shit. Anger management issues. We're used to those overt characteristics because they're so common. But nice guy is also a very common one that it's more benign than the rest, but just as broken. That's why these people are so off-putting. You don't love yourself. You don't have an identity. How could you start a life with somebody that will let the world step on him and by extension step on her and her children? That's all it is, dude.
Areas of life. And in order to break out of this, the first thing you got to do is establish boundaries and then prioritize them over your feelings. Like, for example, sometimes you're going to be put in situations where you're going to have to compromise yourself or who you are for someone else because of how you feel for that person or feel for that girl. But it's important to understand that in those moments, you got to know how to be selfish. You got to know how to prioritize yourself no matter how much you want to break that boundary. You got to learn how to say no a lot more. You got to know how to turn people down. Like, genuinely, being a people pleaser is going to limit you in a lot of ways in life. You're going to say...
That's part of the allure of the bad boy too, by the way. They do what they want, when they want, whenever they want. And they don't give a fuck about the consequences or what other people think about them. There's an attractive allure. There's like a charisma there when you're comfortable being yourself. You're comfortable with yourself and you're willing to butt heads with anybody who doesn't accept you. You don't give a fuck who they are, what they have to say, and what they think of you. That's a sign of a very strong, mentally resilient person when you fully accept yourself in that nature. Everyone else is just trying to fit in, and that's weakness.
Yes to a lot of things that are inconvenient to your life or not conducive to your mission or your goal or your purpose. You have to realize that you can't make everyone happy. And the sooner you realize this, the better off you're going to be. Like, always remember that you're living your own life and they're living their life. Like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now, your life is going to be predicated on what you've done, the decisions that you've made right now. You have to stop letting people and the world and your friends to mold you and start molding yourself, your life. And also, you got to know when to walk away, and not just to girls, but to jobs, to friends, to anyone or anything that's not conducive to your life or your mission, no matter how hard it is. But the last thing for this type of nice guy is try to develop an edge. And this doesn't mean you have to start being an asshole or start being mean to everyone around you, but try to have your own back a little bit. Try to use that fire inside of you. Like, a lot of times in life and society and your teachers and, adults, the world tries to dim out that masculine essence, that fire inside of you. And often this results in us being a lot more subdued when we get older. But sometimes you got to bring it out. Sometimes you got to stand up for yourself. Just try to know what you want, know who you are, stand firm on what you believe in, make yourself the priority in your life, have self-belief, have self-confidence, and have self-respect. Because honestly, these are the things that make you attractive to a girl. These are the things that communicates the value that you can protect her and you can provide for her. And honestly, even putting girls aside, these are the qualities that you need in life to succeed and to get what you want. Otherwise, you're going to live a discontent life living in quiet desperation, never getting what you want, never standing up for yourself. And I really want to speak to this type of nice guy because not only was I that guy, but life is going to hit you eventually, and it's going to hit you hard. And you're going to wake up and realize one day that this type of approach to life, it doesn't work. Whether it be professionally, socially, romantically, it doesn't work. And as a genuine nice guy, you're going to come to that realization eventually. Now, the second type of nice guy is the guy that's passive, reserved, a bit shy, a bit introverted. But unlike the previous definition of nice guy, he's not exactly a nice person. This is just what the world and society labels him, or even he labels himself. And this type of nice guy is actually very angry at the world. He's very discontent with his life. Because based on the fact that he's a passive guy, this translated to never really getting what he wanted out of life. And he has the victim mentality of, oh, it's because I'm a nice guy. He has the mentality of, I didn't get the girl because I'm a nice guy, because I'm too nice to everyone. And he automatically assumes negative qualities to anyone else that's good with girls. Whether it's the guy that's really popular or the guy that's really funny or the starting point guard or the quarterback or the guy that's really smart and really charismatic at the same time, to him, everyone else is the problem. The world is filled with assholes. And he has the mentality of, I'm the guy that nobody sees the true value in. And this type of nice guy is the most disingenuous in the sense that he always gives with certain expectation. And if those certain expectations aren't met, then everyone else is the problem and he gets angry.
They all do. His is just overtly on the physical side in the material world, whether it be sex from women or attention or a girlfriend or something like that. But the other guy, the first one he's talking about, gets what he needs psychologically because he didn't get it in the home. Everyone is getting something. Altruism, forget about it, dude.
And this type of nice guy, he doesn't really do well with other people, let alone girls. And I feel like we've all known someone like this growing up. And not only does he not know how to stand up for himself or not know how to say no, it's not necessarily out of kindness or wanting to make other people happy. Rather, it's purely out of being passive and he doesn't know how to go about getting what he wants. But they'll blame the label of being the nice guy that they've convinced themselves that they are. All of the shortcomings or inadequacies in their life or not getting the girl is because of the nice guy. He's a nice guy in his mind. And a lot of it is a lack of self-awareness and a lack of self-reflection. And there's a lot of reasons for this. It could be because they're spoiled, they never left the comfort zone, no real life experiences, having a shallow perspective, they lack empathy, they're only able to see things through their view. And these are the guys that can be selfish, manipulative, and a lot of girls can sense a fake nice guy a mile away where they don't even want to be friends with them. Like they can tell if there's an objective or agenda behind you being nice. Because aside from being discontent in life or never getting the girl or always being angry or frustrated at the world, it's also very lonely. Because this type of person doesn't make a lot of friends. People don't want to be around them. And I have personally known someone like this back in high school where he saw himself as a nice guy, but he didn't get the girl he wanted. And to him, everyone else was the asshole. That's why the girl he liked didn't like him back. Like everything else was everyone else's fault. And he was just very negative. The best way to get out of this mentality is, I personally believe it's getting punched in the face. Maybe literally, maybe metaphorically, maybe take combat sports, maybe get beat up a little. But I would say get out of your comfort zone and let life metaphorically or literally punch you in the face. Like go through a humbling experience, something that makes you a better person. Whether that's taking combat sports and getting beat up a little or traveling to a third world country, just get out of your comfort zone and go through an experience that humbles you. That's the only way that this type of perspective, this type of mentality can change. Don't be the fake nice guy. Like this is probably one of the worst types of guy that you can be. The third type of nice guy is the guy that's genuinely a kind person, but not necessarily passive or reserved. But because of the nice guy label, oftentimes his kindness is taken for granted. Him being nice is seen as a weakness. But because he's genuinely a nice guy, he sometimes allows people to walk over him. So they have a hard time balancing between being nice and also standing up for themselves. Now this type of nice guy has the potential of being an asshole because he gets tired of his kindness getting taken for granted and also conflated with passivity. Like he's able to set boundaries, but he's unsure of where to draw them. So he has a bit of an identity crisis and goes back and forth between being a nice guy and being an asshole. And sometimes he'll go out of his way to try to break the nice guy label. And I think this applies to a lot of guys where they're genuinely nice, but they're also afraid of getting taken advantage of or having their kindness being seen as a weakness or having the nice guy label. And because of this, sometimes they'll act out of character and be someone that they're not. But for him, it's really an issue of just knowing when and where to draw that boundary, and also knowing when to stand firm on something. Ultimately, there's nothing wrong with being nice. There's actually a lot of positives. Like, if you can be kind and respectful, but also show dominant traits, and also have that perfect balance of having a type A personality, and also being able to be the funny gentleman archetype.
That's well-mannered. That's a well-mannered man.
Like, a lot of girls love that. Nice guys don't finish last. Passive guys finish last. Guys that are pushovers. It's just that we've conflated those two things as a society. And because of the label of a nice guy, we ought.
No, nice guys finish last, always, or don't finish at all. When a guy is too focused on pleasing others, he can come across as lacking confidence. Yep. Yeah, and this is the perfect book for the nice guys. I'll read this one and then we'll cap it off here. As someone that read Dr. Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy, what I realized is that to men need to love themselves as who they are, just as they are. If you're a nice person, continue to be nice. A woman might like a bad boy, but that is what she deems attractive. She's just one woman. That's all. It's not a reflection of your capabilities. Most women I know are in loving relationships, are not with the men who aren't kind or aren't nice. Only emotionally damaged women seek men that are emotionally unavailable themselves. What Dr. Glover essentially says in his book is that a nice guy is a codependent. There you go. Meaning they put a girl on a pedestal and continually chase women, even when being rejected. That is why, at the slightest moment that a woman doesn't like you for who you are or stops trying to make the relationship work, you quickly change your attraction for her and go for someone that chooses you as you are. To the men out there, there's nothing wrong with being nice. Yes, there is. Okay, well-mannered. Remember, a nice person is sociable and cares about others, well-mannered, but direct in what you want. I genuinely believe that most nice men aren't nice because they want something in return, but because they're genuinely nice. No, that's coping. You just said it's the codependency. That's the reason. You read the fucking book that tells you exactly what the problem is. Most nice guys are codependent. Lastly, the most important thing, nice guys aren't actually nice as they label themselves. That is, genuinely being nice is a good trait to have. As a guy that's around a lot of women due to being in school, internship, and work in a children's center, there are all women dominated. The most memorable women I know are those that behave and do nice things for me. People really don't just realize how great it feels for someone to just be nice and kind to others. It's just kind. She's being kind. It's not the hot women, the overconfident, or the women that is playful that's the most memorable, but the ones that are truly nice and do things for me that I remember the most. For example, I had a woman in my class give me an anime figure and another woman at my workplace bring a Starbucks drink unprompted. I'll never forget these women and would be with them romantically if they were available, and they weren't, obviously. This guy needs to reread that book. He stuck on a chick that brought him a Starbucks once. God, women are so good. It takes so little, bro. So little for a woman to manipulate the average man. It's unreal. Okay, nice guy. Anyways, let me know thoughts on the comments below, boys. If you were a nice guy back in your days, how you broke out of that mold, what you found out yourself. And if you want to follow this channel, see more of his videos, Derek Silver, I'll link it in the description below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Check out the second channel if you haven't. Thank you to everybody that signed up in the private community, joining us on calls. We do them 5 times a week. Love to have you, as well as everybody who's done the private consults, man. It's been a blessing to speak to you guys and interesting, to say the least. Take care, boys. See you on the next one.